Matthew Giuffrida. Giuffrida, right? That's how you pronounce it?
Nailed it.
Matthew Giuffrida.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming on to the Freemium podcast. I don't think I need to make much of an introduction today. We've seen your stuff all over the Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you very much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. I haven't done a podcast in a while.
When was the last time you did a podcast?
Good question. A couple months ago. 5-6 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I feel honored.
I'm excited to be here.
Sir, we were talking about something, and let's just continue that conversation there.
Yeah.
On Man-Made. So you said you were doing one-off commercials.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't want to start there. No, I changed my mind. That's not where I want to start. I want to start with who you are as a person. Let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
So I've seen your stuff on Instagram now I'm a Montreal-based guy. You're a Montreal-based guy. More specifically, you said you're from St. Leo, right?
Yeah, East End. Montreal North, St. Leo.
Okay.
East End of Montreal.
I'm going to guess your last name, it's Chinese?
Yeah, you nailed it on the head. No, half Italian, half Portuguese.
Okay, cool. What high school did you go to?
Laurie McDonald.
Laurie McDonald.
Better known as El Mac, bro.
Yeah, we used to play soccer against you guys. I went to Loyola.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I used to. I always got along with the Italians, and my background's like Irish Scottish, but like there was a lot of St. Leo guys, RDP guys that went over to Loyola. So I've always got along with you guys really well. I like I love the accent when you guys speak.
Yeah, we got a charm to us, I guess you could say.
Yeah, no, it's good. But yeah, so I've been seeing your stuff online now for years.
Yeah.
I knew you were a Montreal-based, not influencer, content creator. We'll go
correct.
with,
Yeah,
and we'll get into that a little bit later. But what made you want to start? How did you develop this much of an audience on your social media platforms? Like, did it kind of start off where you're just making like posts, having fun with it, and you're like, oh wow, there's quite a few people watching this. You kept posting and posting and posting. Like, how did you get to where you're at today?
Yeah. Well, essentially, my goal ever since a kid, I've always loved acting. Always wanted to become an actor. Then that kind of passion died out in high school, CEGEP. Then I fell upon Gary Vaynerchuk. I don't know if you've
Gary
V,
of course, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Gary V.
Yeah.
It was his trash, not trash talk, but it was he was in front of a dumpster bin talking about Mondays, how like people hated Mondays, and he was like, we can swear on the podcast.
You can swear as much as you'd like. Yeah.
He's like, you can always get another bullshit job, all that kind of stuff. He's like, but like, you're gonna have regrets essentially if you don't do what you want to do. And at that moment, I was studying economics at Concordia, not liking it. I was working at TD Bank as a teller, not liking it. So I dropped everything and said, you know what, I'm going to pursue this passion that I have for acting. And his thing was like going through the social media route, right? So I opened up Instagram, started posting videos, didn't tell anyone about it.
This is around what year?
This was 2018.
Okay,
beginning
so
of 2018.
relatively recently.
Yeah, so it's going to be March 3rd, 2018 was the first year that I posted.
Yep.
So it'll be 6 years. Yeah, March 3rd coming up.
Was the first video that you posted, was that the me, bro? Was it,
no,
which one was it?
That character was the first one that really popped off, we'll say. For like since March 3rd, 2018 until about August, September, I was posting 4 times a day. Wow. Videos, characters, I was just doing random voices, random accents. For me, it was my portfolio, because in every job, in every industry, people always want you to have experience without giving you experience, right? So this was like, okay, this is my way of showing people like I can do voices, I can act and all that kind of stuff. So that character popped off in I think September-ish, and then from September to the end of that year was when it really started to climb, I guess you can kind of say. But yeah, no, it was the first video was a really terrible Conor McGregor impression in my car.
How many views did it get?
Not much, and we'll leave it at that. It's still up there. I've left everything I've ever posted. I'm not a fan of like taking things down if I don't like it. It's every piece is important, and like every piece is an attribute of like where we are today, sort of thing.
Can you do an Irishman impersonation?
An Irishman impersonation is it's a little bit different, but somewhat.
That's pretty good. What's your opinion on Conor McGregor right now?
Opinion on Conor McGregor right now?
Like, do you follow UFC?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a huge Conor McGregor fan. I want to see him come back to fight, but like at the same time, he's made his bones. He's done what he's done.
Yeah.
If he comes back, he's fighting Chandler, I think.
Yeah,
UFC
Michael Chandler.
Not 300, but 3. Yeah. It's sometime in June.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it. It's gonna be a good fight if it does end up panning out. But It's
the only thing I think, and there's like, I've never been in the fight game, but there's one thing that like the good fighters always talk about, and they say if you don't have that hunger, and I don't think he does have that hunger. If you don't have that hunger, like you're not going to win. How do you beat a guy like Habib Nurmagomedov, where all he does is eat, sleep, train? Like he doesn't drink, he's not partying, he's not chasing girls.
Yeah.
And like that whole entire mindset, I don't think you can beat that. And there was another point too. This was on one of the comebacks. This was before he broke his leg, Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
And he was even saying, I think he ended up losing the fight. And he kept talking about, he was training, but he kept saying, he's like, I keep having these little defeats day after day. So it's like, he goes, I shouldn't drink that, I drank that. I shouldn't eat that, I ate that. I should go to bed now, I won't go to bed now, and I'll keep staying awake. And he's like, I keep having these little losses in my mind.
Micro losses,
Yeah. And he ended up losing that fight right afterwards. I forget which guy he was fighting. I think it's just because he's a crowd pleaser. But the Ultimate Fighter that just came on with Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler, I mean, the views, as far as I know, were not very good. I don't think it hit.
I don't. So I'm not that into the Ultimate Fighter as much. Viewership wise, I'm not too sure. I know there was a couple of clips there that like started like their feud a little bit.
Yeah.
But essentially, I think he did lose his hunger because he did have the hunger at one point.
Yeah.
I think that happens with a lot of fighters, unless you have like Khabib Nurmagomedov is they're bred like that.
That's all they do.
There. That's it. That's all they do.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, for him, it's the money, the yachts, the Lamborghinis, and everything. Now it's a different lifestyle. So you don't have that hunger.
Yeah.
And that clip of him saying like you have to, all those micro losses add up.
Yeah.
That's huge. I love that. I love that clip of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, but I mean, if I was in his shoes, and I was worth let's call $500 million, whatever it's worth. He's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I'd have a really hard time staying motivated to fight too. I mean, why would you want to go get your face smashed in a cage when you've already won the championships at multiple weight classes, and like, what do you have to live for anymore? What do you have to prove?
But that's it, like you in terms of the fight game, like he proved himself, right? He was the first championship holder of both two weight classes.
Correct. Yep.
It was middleweight and
I don't remember the actual weight class that he won, but yeah, he held two belts. Yeah, he held two belts at the same time for two different weight classes.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, it's pretty obvious right now that I think he was on the juice.
Oh, 100%. His head just grew 3 sizes.
Like, even his
jawline.
Yeah, like his forehead's bigger. He looks different than 8 years ago.
Literally, his head is just like 2 sizes bigger.
Yeah.
It's wild.
And he's also like 30 pounds heavier.
Yeah, well, he wants to fight him at 185. That's huge.
Yeah, I think
he was a 145 pounder when he started.
He was 145?
He was 145.
Jesus. But yeah, I mean, I love watching that stuff. Did you watch the football games yesterday?
No, I'm not a big football fan.
Are you like a European football fan?
No, not even.
No?
Like, I'll watch the World Cup, Euro Cup when it happens, but besides that, sports in general.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a if I have to say, Washington Capitals fan.
Okay.
My dad was picked the underdog growing up, and I grew up with that. And yeah, so we're actually going to watch the game on February 17th, so I'm excited for that.
Nice.
But
it's like, what are your other interests? Or is it basically just acting? Tunnel vision.
Yeah, well,
building an empire.
Tunnel vision to a certain point. Like I love cars. I love fishing. So in the summertime, like we do quite a bit of fishing. Car shows, car events. What else? I like playing volleyball as well. And yeah, my life kind of, I guess, changed like recent. Well, as of June, I would say, like last year, kind of. I'm trying to like find a balance between working hard and also just having fun at the same time, enjoying where I'm at right now.
Okay. And it changed how though?
Well, essentially, we had a split with my girlfriend. Essentially,
sorry,
and no, it's okay. It happens. But it that allowed me to focus, like tunnel vision focus on myself.
Yeah.
And there were some things I had to change. Did them, and again tunnel vision, and I'm reinstating that tunnel vision now for 2024, because I noticed it was like the best version of myself when I was able to focus on, like, instead of trying to do a million things at once, break it down to like 5-6 simple steps or simple things, focus on those, and that was a big game changer.
Sometimes that happens. My cousin actually went through the same thing. He had a breakup. This was a couple of years ago. I must say it's like 5 years, something like that. He was overweight, drinking too much, partying too much. He was doing, I'm not trying to put judgment onto him, but he knew he was doing all these things. He had a breakup. Shortly after, he lost a ton of weight. cleaned up his act. He doesn't drink anymore. And he's 100% like, he's happy. I asked him, I'm like, how's it going? Like, it's been a couple of years now. He doesn't really drink. And like, how's it going? He's like, bro, best thing I've ever done. He's like, my relationships are better. I feel better about myself. Yeah. My business is better. I've never been more focused. My mind's clear all the time. I mean, no one needs to be lectured on the benefits of not drinking.
100%.
You know, so
100%.
Yeah. But sometimes I think that the breakup that he had with his girlfriend, I think it took that.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, it was one of the best things that ever happened to me.
Yeah. You know, honestly, and it's funny. So there's that side of it, right? Yeah. But mine was actually, I'd say, you can almost say the flip side, right? Whereas like I was always, my issue was that I'd never hang out with friends. I would always skip events. I would never want to go out or whatever it is, because it's like, if I'm going out, I'm not putting in time to making skits, making videos. But then the other issue is that the other problem that I had was procrastination. So I'd stay home or wouldn't go out in order to work, but then I wouldn't end up working, or I would think it was like a weird dynamic.
You would lie to yourself.
I would lie to essentially lie to myself. Versus now it's like, you know what, like I'll like my Monday to Friday will be like Monday, Friday, even on Sunday sometimes will be like hardcore work and focused. Yeah. And then maybe like my Friday, Saturday will be like, yeah, I'll go hang out with my friends. You know, I put in the time during the week, and I'll enjoy a little bit and kind of have that balance. What
does your work week look like today?
It's very every week is like nothing's really the same. I'm doing the radio.
Let's back up just a little bit, because it's I don't even remember, because we've just been talking. You have a video production company.
Correct.
Okay, so you started off as, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, so you've been doing this since 2018. You started off as, I keep wanting to say influencer, as a content creator on like the social media platforms. You got into the video production company. So when did you decide, or when did you think it was a good idea to open up your own video production company?
So I guess you could say there's kind of two phases. The first phase is when my parents said like, look, it's fun that you're home and not working and posting videos, but you got to also see some money here, sort of thing. So once that happened, I decided to, because and this is actually a perfect segue for the whole influencer thing. I have nothing against influencers, but I didn't want to be just another one like, hey guys, check my story out, swipe up to get 15% off. And I didn't want to do all that kind of stuff. I wanted to provide essentially like I wanted people to come to my page to laugh, to provide value. If I'm going to be bombarding them with commercials or marketing things and all that kind of stuff, like it has to still be entertaining. Yeah. So what I said is like, where do people want to watch commercials? And I thought, okay, the Super Bowl, where people will like. I personally watch Super Bowl for the commercials. Yeah. Right. They're entertaining. So I said, if I can create some sort of Super Bowl style commercial, obviously on a budget, that's my segue of going about things. And companies really took on and liked it, because it's like I can get information across to people, but also have them laugh. So at the same time, it's like, even if you don't care about this coffee that I'm selling, or this coffee from this company is selling, the video itself was funny, and you might even rewatch it a second time, and then you'll remember that like, oh, what he did in that video with the coffee, when it comes time maybe 2-3 months down the line, you'll remember it, sort of thing. It's memorable. That's kind of my my goal was that. But now what ended up happening was I was working a lot with many different companies, one-offs, right? So like one commercial for this one, another one for that one, maybe 2-3 here, some repeat customers and everything. And then that's when I started working with Man-Made, you know, also being from the East End. When I met those guys and I walked into the office, before leaving, I told them, I don't know what this is right now, but meaning like connection wise, I'm like, but this is not a one-off situation. Like we're in this for the long term together.
It's funny because he said the exact same thing about you, and it's like, and I could see, even though not knowing either of you guys personally, well, I know Anthony now because he came on to the podcast. This is the first time we've ever met. I could just see how you guys would have that chemistry walking in. It does help, you know, you're both of Italian descent.
100%.
And for you guys have like that special love for each other, and you guys are both Montrealers, but there's also like the same energy that's around. And because he was telling the story about how when they started Man-Made and during COVID, they were looking for influencers or content creators to partner with. And some of the people there, for whatever, like the boom on the internet, some of these TikTokers, he said, were charging like $10,000 a post. So for him, it was the same thing. He also wasn't looking for a one-off. Correct. And then he was talking about like when you guys met, it's just like, okay, something's
something's
clicking here. We can't put our finger on it, but this.
Correct. Yeah, we did a couple of one-offs. We did, and like they're one of the companies that I did like, again, really, and at the same time, the product is, and not because I work with them, but I tell all my friends, I tell everyone, because I get asked that a lot now. It's like, are the underwear actually that good? Like, put them on for yourself. Like, just try them. They're really good, and I appreciated that. So that made everything easier, right? Because it's like now you don't just want to do a commercial for a company because whatever the hell, right? So like I guess phase 2 started more so when I was working a little bit closer with them, and realizing that like, maybe the gameplay for me is more so like having that production company and like making social media ads for companies on a longer term scale. Because the one-off, if it doesn't hit, we need to figure out why it didn't hit, right? So with them, that's what it was. It was constantly testing videos, testing, okay, like, well, did this hook work? Did this character work? It didn't. Okay, like, what if we make it shorter? Did this one of a minute and a half work? Why did this 6-minute video work and not the 30-second one? So you're constantly testing, and I liked that, and you had that relationship with them, and versus just going in, making a video, and then okay, ciao, sort of thing, right? Yeah. So that's where my focus kind of changed, and that's where like the production company kind of really developed, I guess you can kind of say. But also,
were they your first client?
No,
they weren't. Okay. Sorry, excuse me. Let me rephrase that. Were they your first partnership, like longer term partnership client, as opposed to the one-offs?
Yes, okay. I would say first longer term. There were other companies that, like, for example, every like year around the same time we would do work together, but they were more so like on like a month-to-month basis, sort of thing. Consistent, correct.
Sitting down. And do you guys like go into like, are you brainstorming together?
Yeah.
For what you think will work?
Yeah, I'll take over the brainstorming kind of and like present them with like, hey, like this is what I think can work, and then they give me feedback. Yeah, we should mention this. Don't forget to mention that. This would be a good hook, and we work on it together. Which is as they like to say, a cadence, a vibe that I really did enjoy. And that's the thing that I started bringing in now with other companies. The other reason why I wanted to go down this production company route and kind of separate it from my content was there's always the fear of like, if the characters get stale, if Instagram shuts down. My Facebook, when I started the production company, like doing the newer method sort of thing, like working with companies longer term, my Facebook account was hacked.
Fuck.
So yeah, like starting off right off the bat. But the thing is that I was still able to reach out to companies and work with them, and like not even offer my pages as a form of marketing. It's just, I want to make you the video. You market it the way you're supposed to market it. Because that's the other thing that I realized with ManMade. They know how to market their videos, how to advertise them, how to put money behind it, how to like Facebook ads and all kind of stuff.
Yes.
Which a lot of times companies didn't know what to do. They'll post it on their page or post it on my page and hope for, like, we'll get $100,000 in sales. Like, it's not.
That was something we were talking about yesterday, because we had another, actually they were a video production company as well, 5 Pound Media. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Yes.
But so Riley and Glenn, and one of the things that we were talking about is the fact that, like, just because you put $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 behind a video, if you don't know the places to put it on the internet, I mean, you could put that on YouTube. If you don't have a YouTube audience, like, you could spend $30,000 and maybe 10 people will see it.
Yeah.
So you're basically you're lighting money on fire.
Correct.
And like, people need to, ManMade, I was super impressed with Anthony when he came in, and he was just explaining all his knowledge of Facebook marketing, Google marketing, TikTok marketing, all the views, all the impressions, it was like, they know what the hell they're talking about.
They do.
And like, that helps, because you need a bit of both, like, to build an audience. Like, you can build an audience organically, but if you also get that push from money behind it, that helps a lot too. And it also shows you, this is something I mentioned this yesterday, but I got this from Gary Vee as well. He's like, he goes, they got to the point where they wouldn't. A lot of brands have it backwards. So they'll go, okay, we're going to pick a video and we're going to put money behind this video. He's like, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be posting your videos organically first. Yeah. See which videos hit.
Correct.
If something goes off organically, well, whatever's resonating with the people is resonating with the people for that. He goes, put money behind that ad. Yeah. Don't put money behind something that you think like it might or might not work.
Test it for free, essentially. Well, maybe not free, because it takes money to make the video. But essentially,
it makes a decision for you.
Correct.
So it's like, because sometimes Shamar and I are in a room and we're just like, okay, should we do this one? Because we have different takes and different pieces of content. and it's a debate, and you can have 10 people in a room and you'll probably get 10 different answers.
Yeah.
So it's like, just test it, put it on, see what goes off organically, and then you can go from there.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, sorry, I kind of cut you off there.
No, don't worry about it. But no, essentially, so like, that was it. And like, I saw the way they were working, and I'm like, this is a way, a more sustainable, long-term plan that works and makes a little bit more sense for me and allows me to still do what I want to do. And what ended up happening was, all of a sudden, like, my characters became irrelevant. My social media became essentially irrelevant. That was just more so like, look what I've built. I know what I'm talking about in terms of content. Allow me to make stuff for you now. Plus, being in the acting field for also 5-6 years, I've made a lot of connections in terms of actors, and also just people in the field. So like, I bring that with me as well, right? So with Man Made, like, we've used actors already that I've met on movie sets and everything before. So it's not just my face. If I have to just sit behind the camera and just direct and produce, that's fine with me as well. So it's more of like a sustainable route, but I'm feeling that hunger and that need now to go back to my content. Like, I really want to make my own content again.
And why do you feel that hunger and need to make content yourself?
I just genuinely enjoy doing it.
Okay,
like,
that's fair.
Yeah, I've been like, I miss when I miss the old days when I used to wake up in the morning and it was a blank canvas. It's like, what are we filming today? Okay, let's have this topic, film, and like, I was doing four videos a day for like a good 6 months. You know, like, it was just that excitement in the morning of just being like, and like, it is like a muscle. Yeah. Right. So right now, like, if I have to come up with a skit, like, it comes to me, but like, it's a little bit harder. But when you're in that creative process and that flow, and that's what I'm looking for again, it's just that flow of like ideas. It's a fun spot and very comfortable spot for me to be in.
How do you come up with all these like creative ideas all the time? Like, is your head kind of the hamster's always on the wheel? It's just always like turning.
I get asked this question a lot, how I come up with the ideas, and my answer is always, I don't know. And the reason,
my brain works that way,
no, but honestly, like, sometimes, like, yeah, like, if I have to come up with a funny concept about the water, and I'll start thinking about it. Okay, fine. But most of the time, it's just like, we'll be here discussing things, and like, an idea will pop up into my head.
Okay.
Where that comes from?
Did anything pop up when you walked into KBD?
Oh, 100%. I have like 10 videos that I'm going to make after this.
Here's my business card.
Exactly. But yeah, no, essentially, it's like, a lot of the times it's just ideas that pop up out of nowhere, and it's like, okay, like, yeah, let's develop it and see where it goes.
Are you guys looking, or how many people are at your video production company right now?
Right. So right now it's myself, and I have my partner who's more so on sales, but and my videographer guy and sound guy. Okay. Yeah. But it's more so like per project sort of thing.
And are you looking to grow?
By
grow, I mean like more clients, or are you looking to just work more with your existing clients?
Right now, work more with existing clients. We're doubling down with Man Made for sure. Mm-hmm. I think there's definitely something there that we're growing on. And then, like, I think just like, because of the fact of like, I do enjoy just the having that like difference in creativity sort of thing. So it's not just always like one company. I do look for other like companies, maybe like still longer term, but like shorter term sort of thing. I guess if that makes sense. Yeah. Kind of like, instead of like a full year, maybe like a couple of months or whatever it is, just to make some ads. Yeah.
That totally makes sense. But Man Made, they got to, what do you think it is about Man Made that resonates with people?
How genuine and honest they are about providing actual value.
And what is that value?
So number one, in every aspect of what they do. So in terms of like, for example, like, okay, we'll start with the product. Number one.
I'm laughing because what I was going to say is it's really comfortable on your balls.
Yeah, 100%. Well, that's the thing. So start off with the product, super comfortable. Yeah. Like, the products are genuinely great. Yeah. But then you go to, for example, their customer service. Yeah. Like, so I work out of their office, right? And I see what goes on.
Their guys are in Chabanel, right?
I think. Okay. Yeah. Their shipping, their customer service is just like, it's on, every single comment gets answered. Like, what company, that was something that like I used to do that I don't do anymore, but they have designated people just to like answer. It's not a robot. Like, they're actually answering comments, right? The personalized cards, like like all these little details is the reason why they are and they will be huge. sort of thing.
I think also too, there's something about owners having a hands-on approach that people like.
Yes.
It adds a face to the brand.
Yeah. And then that was the last step, was like, is themselves as people.
Yeah.
Like they're hands-on, they're working. Like last night, they even posted their story. They were there, like they had just received stock, and they were like, they call it palletizing. So they were like counting and all that kind of stuff. So like that's them doing it. You know, they got their hands in the dirt. Is that what it is? Their feet in the dirt, or I don't know
get the dirt underneath their nails.
There we go. Exactly. Yeah. And they're cool with that, and like they're hardworking, and like I said, genuine. So,
it's not some guy it's not some big brand with the CEO down in Mexico telling everyone what to do, and he's collecting a $30 million salary.
Bingo.
Yeah.
That'll come eventually. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. No, I agree. But there was like the reason I used that particular example, this really rubbed me the wrong way. So for Ford, I have a Ford, but during the negotiations with the workers, so the union workers, you know, and inflation, cost of living is going up, and we don't need to get into all those details. But when the unions, which is the workers, the people who are actually building the cars, so they're arguing for their points, and then the CEO, instead of being at the table with the workers, he was checking into the meetings remotely from a massive villa, multi-million dollar villa down in Mexico. Nice. I mean, like, do you want? That is the easiest way to get zero respect,
of course,
out of your workers. And say what you want about Elon Musk. The one thing that this guy, a lot of people talk trash about the guy. This guy, to get Tesla up and running, was sleeping in the factory. Like this is real. Like some people go, he wasn't doing that. He was doing this. Like there's interviews with workers. Like, nah, dude, this guy's here more than anyone. He was down there. He was speaking to the workers. And there's something about being in the trenches, if you're like an owner of a business or a leader of a business, being in the trenches with the people who are actually fighting the battle, I think is so important. And I think that's definitely hit the nail on the head there with regards to man-made. Them being present and them building it, it adds a lot of respect for me, at least. I'm speaking for myself. I give a lot of respect to that. And also I like to, support local brands, and it's not easy to start a business. There's a lot of ups, there's a lot of downs. It's very expensive. There's a lot of risk involved in it too. I mean, these guys, they started, they all quit their jobs. They were working at the bank as well, and freaking started an underwear company.
And again, like a company in a market that's, I'm not gonna say saturated, but like
tough market.
A tough market. Like there are big players, there are medium players, and there are other small players. And like you're coming in there and you're making a splash.
Yeah.
You're making more than a splash.
Yeah.
Right. And just getting started.
Yeah.
Right.
So it'll be cool to see. Mark Cuban did the same thing. He had a story when he bought the Dallas Mavericks. I think he just sold it. Did he? I think. Well, I could be wrong about that. But when he originally bought them, so the team was shit. Yeah. He got on the phone himself. And he cold called old ticket holders, season ticket holders. Yeah. And it's basically like, hey, like, do you want to buy your season tickets again? Like, who's this? Like, I'm the owner of the company. And there's just something about that. People too, they're like, holy fuck, I'm speaking to the owner.
Yeah.
I bet you it worked.
100%.
Yeah. Well, they won a couple of championships. So what am I saying? It did work.
It did work.
What's your opinion on, just to switch gears a little bit. I always find this funny. So in Canada, we see a lot of his commercials as well with a lot of different brands. In the US, it's even more. It's like on steroids. Shaq. I love Shaq.
Okay.
But this guy, like, I don't know if you've ever noticed, holy shit, he's featured in like every commercial. Yeah. He's got like the icy pack. He's got, it's not even coming to my mind, but he's always like with different brands and stuff. So the question I'm just going to lead with this is, he has a good brand, but is he diluting his brand because he's doing this with so many different companies? And I guess the question I have for you is, because I'm always thinking, you're working with Man-Made, and you said sometimes that you're in the commercial, sometimes you're not in the commercial. Yeah. For me, if I was a company trying to hire your video production company, I would most likely, especially if my audience or my target market was in Montreal, I would ask for you to be in the videos.
Yeah.
So I know there's a couple parts to this question, but do you ever have to like be careful about how many brands that you personally work with? Because you have a commercial with BuzzFit. You have not commercials, or I'm assuming a partnership with them. You work with Man-Made. Do you work with any other brands? Like for you, your face personally being in the commercials?
Look, so when we decided to go down the route now of like longer partnerships, that's where I was like, ooh, okay. I had to look back. I've done a lot of companies in terms of one-offs. So looking back, I'm like, ooh, okay, was it the smartest thing to do? Maybe not, because any one of those companies can grab the commercial that I made for them and rerun it. Not many are doing that, if any, really, that I know of, which is fine. But the thing is that like I put myself in a situation now where, for example, like I've done multiple like real estate agents or bakeries or was there another gym at the beginning there was other gyms sort of thing, so it can get a little bit, but my thing is that I never like the way I always saw it was that I'm a production company and I'm the actor in it. Never in any of the scripts, and you can go back through all those videos, am I saying this is the best gym, this is the best bakery, this is the only place I use, this is none of that, because that's more influencer style. Whereas I'm more so like, I'll make you a commercial. Instead of going to hire an actor, you want my characters, I'll act in the commercial sort of thing. Am I personally endorsing it? Well, it's like, yes, to a certain extent, but like I'm not sitting here saying, again, like this is the best or whatever it is. It's strictly from a point of making a commercial for the company sort of thing.
So your answer is like, no, it doesn't dilute your brand.
Again, it can, but I haven't like I've done a video for a real estate agent, and then like 2-3 months down the line done a video for another real estate agent. It's just I'm giving them access.
And you were in character.
In character.
Okay.
In character. Different completely style videos, different scripts. Again, and never anything saying like, oh, like this is the real estate agent you have to use, or like none of that. Just here's a commercial for a real estate agent that I put together, and I'm posting it on my page.
Interesting. And what's your pitch to brands or companies when you're trying to work with them? Because you mentioned that, so you have yourself, you have someone who's in sales, you have a couple of like a videographer, you have your team there. When you guys are trying to get new clients, even though I know right now you said you're kind of just like trying to work more closely with your already existing clients, but like let's say for example in the past, like are most of the time are they approaching you, or are you guys kind of like outreaching to brands saying like, hey man, we think we could really be a value to you? The reason I'm asking this is just because like if I was running a video production company and I had someone like you who already has an existing audience, like my pitch would be like, hey, like I'll work with you guys. I want to work closely with you guys over the next 6 months if you're looking to do like a year-long campaign or whatever it is. One of the perks of working with my with Giuffrida Video Productions is myself personally, bro, I'm going to be in the video itself. Like kind of, so like what is your pitch when you're trying to get new clients?
Well, for now, it's more so the fact that we're like the one-stop shop for quality content that can convert essentially into sales. So that's essentially what we're going with. But more so the one-stop shop, meaning like you don't need to like worry about essentially finding the director, finding actors, finding whatever it is. It's like you come to us and it's everything is done, from the idea generation to, and being a small team, like everything is very like close knit sort of thing, right? So that's pretty much, I would say, the quick way of pitching, right? But essentially and like also like the quality of it as well. Like I have had some commercials that I produced be put on TV. So like, again, it's like it depends what these companies are looking for. We're trying to find companies that are, for example, like across Canada or even in the United States or worldwide, but that have a certain amount of ad spend as well. Like, because
like what's that ad spend? If you're allowed to talk, I mean, we don't have to tell like what other people are doing, but you're looking for companies that are spending over $50,000 a month on social media platforms. Or
even more so. Like we're looking at I'd say between 150 and 250
a month.
Oh, wow. on ad spend. So not even not even in terms of like creating
plus
the video.
The production, whatever. Plus the production,
But what I'm saying is that I'm coming in. I'm saying I can make you a commercial that looks like whatever. Because again, being in the acting field, I know like actors alone will get paid, for example, $2,000. And you don't have a script yet, you don't have a director, you don't have a camera, you don't have anything. We're coming in with everything: camera, sound, editing, idea,
Do you do the posting as well, or the companies typically speaking take care of the posting?
They take care of the posting.
Got it.
Yeah, we don't want to. I've tried that. I've done that a little bit, and it's that for me was a headache. The posting, the captions, the comments, like kind of like social media management.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't do the social media management, but you're looking for people that have like a minimum amount of ad spend, why are you looking for that amount of ad spend? Is it just because, I guess, they take it seriously? Or?
They take it seriously, and generally, if you're putting about $150,000 a month on ad spend, you know what you're doing.
Got it.
Yeah.
And that's also good for, okay, I can see that's very smart. Because it's good for you guys as well, because like your content also gets put out there, so it's like it's good for the brand you're working with, but it's also good for you guys as well. Is that kind of your mentality?
So it's more so we'll really get to see if something works if we put the ad spend behind it, right? If it's a commercial going out there, we'll know, right? I've done commercials, for example, in the past where for like mugs. And people think like, oh my God, this is gonna be great. These people we're gonna sell out and everything, and they don't get anything.
No conversions.
Wow. And that was my thing. I'm not like in the past. That was my these one-offs. It's like I can't promise you. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
We're gonna post it and see what happens.
Yeah.
But then I've done a commercial, for example, with a Rolex broker, and he was able to sell $150,000 in Rolexes.
Wow.
So it's like. And literally before this production company, in terms of like long-term, because before, so it was just companies, I'd post a video, hey, how much to advertise on your page? They'd reach out to me, and I'd explain to them like, this is the price, whatever it is, and they'd be like, yeah, but like, do you know how much? Like, can we see the conversion? I'm like, I don't know. I said, I can't sell pizzas. I said, but Rolexes are gonna fly off. That doesn't give me like I don't know, right? I'm gonna make the video as best as I can.
And how can you though?
And how? But you can't, right? Like who's gonna see?
For all you know, maybe it's like maybe your website sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like if you go to buy the product, it's slow or it's not clear. Like
I started including my own little ad spend, but just boosting the post. It's not really properly promoting the videos, but little boosting. And so I would know, for example, that like 1,200 people clicked on like a paid 1,200 people clicked on your website. So basically, it's as if like you have a store. I brought 1,200 people into your store, and if your store doesn't convert, you don't make any sales. That's not my fault.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I got the eyes there. I got the people there.
Yeah.
That's kind of like where I was kind of.
Yeah.
But
maybe
now
the girl behind the counter is a total bitch. Like
who knows? Who knows, right? But now working a little bit longer term, like at least 3 months, it gives me the idea. Like the first month, okay, let's try like 3-4 different videos.
Yeah.
And we'll see what works, right? And then, okay, this one worked, great. So these two, we'll scrap them. We'll try another route. This one, maybe we'll make it shorter. We'll modify it, or we'll make another one that's similar to this.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, and the brands that you are working with, do they share? I guess they would give you like a lot of the data. Be like, hey, by the way, this video got this many conversions, or not really? Like you're just looking at the views and impressions and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think I'm coming in mainly with what I can do first. Let me put my spin on it, and then we'll see what happens, sort of thing.
Huh.
You know, and then again, like you'll see like some things like one BuzzFeed video that ended up working was in French. They wanted some French content.
Yeah.
Which was new for me.
Yeah. You speak very good French, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Very well. Like I was like listening to like Jesus Christ, like it's your French is perfect.
It's not perfect, but I mean, pape. But yeah. So I mean, like that was not a challenge for me, but like I needed to get my stuff corrected. I needed to get my stuff, make sure I'm saying somewhat. Not sound like an idiot out there.
You
right?
don't mix up the feminine, masculine.
Exactly. Like, trying our best too. That's always fun. But like that one, they're like organically did really well, and they put money behind it as well. And it's like they came back and it's like, yeah, this one was great. Other ones too was like I made one that was a little bit more cinematic. Like I had this vision in my head, and like we went with it and got the actor involved and everything. And it was it's cool just to try out different things, test different things.
Interesting. It also helps with the brand of BuzzFit. Or the promotion that was going on. It was $1 a month. That's crazy.
Yeah, I see, and that's the other thing too is that
free plug for BuzzFit.
Free plug for BuzzFit, exactly. But that's the other thing too is that like it also depends what you're offering.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that like it has nothing to do with me, but it's like if your offer sucks too, right? I can't like
we spend. I mean, I love e-commerce. Like our website. Like I can't do the web development, but I'm the guy who quarterbacked the whole entire website, and. I've learned a lot over the time, but it's like if you have a shitty website, it's like you said, you can bring a million people to your website. If the website sucks or it's complicated or the offering isn't clear, it's slow, it crashes, whatever, I mean, you're not going to sell product.
Yeah.
And a lot of brands don't understand that. It's like there's one thing, if it's building a website, it's like a lot of people, they need to understand that conversion optimization is so important. That was another thing too that like man-made. I keep pumping their tires and stuff. But Anthony, at least I don't know what their data is, what their data looks like, but he definitely showed that he has a very good understanding of how it works. And I think they're, they look like they're 4 smart guys.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some of the okay, so I want to get into the characters that you have.
Yeah.
So I wrote it down. So you have the you have the Keb guy who's like always in the tie.
Yeah.
You have like a maroon suit with the tie and you put your hair down like this.
Yeah. That's,
so he's supposed to be
Martin.
Frank of Martin.
Martin.
And then you have the Italian guy with the white T-shirt. That's the mi eyebrow.
Yeah, mi eyebrow, East End Italian.
East End.
Yeah.
You had a gangster.
Yeah, Tony Soprano.
Tony
vibe.
Soprano. Okay.
Yeah.
Are those like the 3 main characters, or like
those are I would say the 3 main ones.
Okay.
Yeah. I just at one point I had there's so many. There's like the Latino one or Latino. I haven't decided which route to go with that one. But that's there's the Gus was the
which guy was Gus? I remember Gus. What was that?
Gus was the one with the slur, but he the sexual what was it? The sex guru is essentially that guy. I'm trying to Gus. There was Lil K Katso was the SoundCloud rapper who thinks he's big shot, but he sucks. Okay. There's stuff I want to do with him too. Like I actually want to make like music videos. Yeah. With him, but it's just like. Yeah, like I have a lot of like stuff that I want to do that I haven't actually done because my focus did end up shifting more towards the business side of things.
Got it.
Right. But anyways, yeah. So I have there was a Borat impression, the Conor McGregor impression.
Do you practice this in front of the mirror like before as the character evolves? Yeah. Do you practice it? The reason I asked that question is because one of my dad's buddies, his name's Killen, and he would, so whenever they have like an annual golf tournament, and so whenever the annual golf tournament comes around, they're all like 65 years old. It's hilarious. Okay. And they go away and they stay in like an Airbnb and they just like have a good time and play golf and eat and drink and all that kind of stuff. And now they all look forward to the golf part and the food. But Kieran, he's like this guy, and he always has like a new character every single year. And they ask, but he's so funny. So it's literally like improv in front of everyone, but it's hilarious. And they ask him like, "You must practice this." He's like, "Yeah, I practice this all the time. I want to make sure it's a good character." Yeah. Do you ever like go in front of the mirror and practice it, or?
I wouldn't necessarily say like I stand in front of the mirror and practice, but like I tend to talk to myself a lot. And in the talking, like driving or whatever it is, like I'll break out into the character, and like sometimes that's what it is. I'll just start talking, and then like one thing leads to another, and I'm like, oh, this is a video, and it's set. Just record, and you're good to go. But yeah, different accents or whatever it is, I'll definitely like just practice them. Right? It's because you could do it anywhere. Yeah. Just maybe not in public when you're by yourself, but yeah.
That'll come across a little weird.
A little weird. 100%.
What's okay? So Martin, just describe to us who Martin is.
Martin is the Monsieur, Madame, tout le monde of Quebec, and he's just constantly upset with the city and all the things that are going wrong with the city. And he
like what?
Like the construction, the potholes, the snow removal, the healthcare system. Just what taxes. He says what everyone wants to say, but doesn't say.
Okay. Got
Guaranteed.
It. That's Martin.
And he...
Does he have a last name or he doesn't have a last name?
There's no last name.
There's no last name.
There's no last name.
On his birth certificate, it's Martin.
It's just Martin, and that's it, man. That's it. Just...
Does he come from like Montreal? Is he from like en Beauce? Like where does he come from?
Saint-Anne-des-Deux-Cols, yes. Well, there you go. We'll put it that way.
Okay, so that's Martin.
That's Martin.
And then we have so the mi bro with the white T-shirt. Who's that?
That's Brother.
Brother.
He's also just the one. Brother. Brudder.
Brother. Okay. And give us what's Brother? What's his personality like?
Brother is just high on life.
Okay.
High on life.
Where does he live?
He's definitely RDP.
RDP? Does he live with his mom still?
100%. 100%. Lives with his mom. Okay. With no intention of moving out. With no intention of moving out.
How old is he?
Oh, he's He's 27.
Okay.
He's 27.
Okay.
Yeah, he's that character will age nicely, I think, because the older
Yeah.
it gets, the more ridiculous it'll be for sure. But yeah, no, he's just a happy guy, a little bit oblivious to things that are going on, but just he's just kind of going with the flow.
What would you say his IQ is?
He'd say what does IQ stand for is what he would probably say.
Okay, and the last one, that the gangster, the Tony Soprano character. So who's that? Give us an explanation of who this character is.
So, huge fan of The Sopranos.
Okay.
James Gandolfini, amazing actor.
Yeah.
Tony Soprano is probably one of my favorite characters ever played in TV, film, everything. And that was just my like tribute, I guess, kind of to that. Like, it's sometimes like certain mannerisms will kind of mimic his a little bit, but I kind of tried to make it my own a little, like, as well, in terms of the voice and things he says and like kind of like his catchphrases or whatever you want to say. And that was just basically it, because I've always wanted to be in a mobster movie. That was like a dream.
We were having this debate the other day, and this is a perfect question for right now. What would you say is the greatest gangster movie of all time?
Donnie Brasco.
Donnie Brasco?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I absolutely love that movie.
With Al Pacino
and
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp. Yeah.
That is an excellent movie.
Yeah.
Was that?
I mean, classics, Casino, and they're all classics. But for some reason, Donnie Brasco for me does something. I don't know what it is, but
me and my buddy, we always laugh at that scene when Al Pacino, he's cooking something in the kitchen.
Punch or pinch?
Was that what it is? But he gets like something's going wrong and he gets mad at his wife.
Yeah, Annette, put out the fire. And he's like, there's a fire there. But he puts salt. He's like, punch or salt. And then Johnny Depp's like, punch or pinch? It's like, punch? No, pinch. What did I say? Punch? Yeah. No, but Donnie, make no fucking sense. Yeah, it's
or there's like other scenes too where he's kind of like what was the one there where Johnny Depp's kind of like, so they're smoking in the car, so Johnny's like, that smells like smoke. He puts down the window.
Yeah, you're gonna kill me with that draft. Yeah.
and he just puts it back up. He's
exactly. He's like, yeah. Classic movie.
Yeah, the gangster movies are excellent. I'm drawing a blank right now. Who's the director who Goodfellas, Casino? What the hell?
Scorsese?
Thank you, Martin Scorsese. Donnie Brasco is not Martin Scorsese.
No. What I also like about Donnie Brasco is that it's a true story, and there was some also like Montreal affiliation there as well. In there, won't get into that there, but I mean, like, yeah.
Did you ever take? You went to Concordia, took economics. Did you ever take the class Organized Crime?
No.
Awesome
I didn't even
class.
know.
There's a big focus on Montreal as well.
Okay.
And there's a couple of podcasts out there too that I don't remember the names, are on the tip of my tongue, that are about like Montreal gangsterism. What is it about gangsters that's like so fascinating?
I don't know. It's
I'm the same way as you. I like
it's something that I guess it's like that they were to a certain extent like glorified in the 70s, 80s. That lifestyle, that like the respect, the like they can go wherever they want sort of thing, like that kind of like it's I would say it's different now. It's not the same. Well, I mean, it's not the same.
No.
But yeah, I think that's what it is. And a lot of these movies, that's what they kind of did too, is that they were like not glorified, but yeah, like they showed the
all
power,
the money
and the respect, and
the women,
the women,
cars, like
exactly, you
everything,
know? And just I don't know. And there's just some sort of like almost even like a caricature about it.
Yeah,
kind of say.
Yeah. Like any single time that there's a good documentary or a movie that comes out on Netflix or wherever, if it's a good gangster documentary, like about notorious gangster, and I don't care what type of gangster it is, they could be Italian, they could be Irish, they could be Russian, they could be, I'm going to watch that documentary. I'm so interested in it.
I think to a certain extent as well, it's the fact that like the stories that these people have, and they're not like, sometimes they're fabricated, but a lot of times that like this actually happened. Yeah. You know, it's like, oh my God, like I can't believe that, like, you know, just even the opening scene of Goodfellas, right? When he comes in by the back door, sort of thing, and everyone knows him, and then it's
one of the most famous scenes of all time.
Everyone knows him, walks in. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's that movie. They set the table. Right in front of the stage.
Yeah.
Like just having that, like
Ray Liotta as the actor.
Exactly. Yeah. So he's there with the girl. They set the table. They bring the forks, and now all of a sudden people are looking around them like, I thought I was sitting in the front, but it's like, no, now there's like stuff like that actually happened.
Oh yeah.
Multiple, and that's even like it's a stupid example, but when you're watching these things, it's like, oh my god, like this actually, like this guy walked in as if he owned the place. He doesn't own the place, and it's just like that, those sort of things that I guess, again, it's not for everyone, but like
it's more of a dude thing, I think. But yeah, it's like there used to be this guy too. We used to go to Globe. So you're 27. I'm 35. So Globe was probably before your time. It was on Saint Laurent and Sherbrooke.
Okay.
So you used to have there's 3 restaurants there. You had Buonanotte, you had Globe. Those are the same ownership group, and you had Med right next to it. Med was not on the same tier as Buonanotte and Globe, but like Buonanotte at one point was the spot to go to in Montreal for the nightlife. And there was this guy that used to come. There was quite a bit of gangsters that used to go there all the time, but I know him today. He actually lives in the West Island. He would come in through. He was an Irish guy, charismatic, super good looking. I keep asking him to come on the podcast, but I'll get him on one day, so I won't say his name right now. Charismatic, good looking, big high up in the drug game. He would always come in through the back. He was like 25 years old at the time. All the owners would, how you doing? All the managers, all the waitresses. Oh my God, he's so like. But he just had this aura around him. Like he'd walk in, big guy. You don't want to cross this guy. He'll fuck you up. Like just a gangster. Yeah, he was just a fucking gangster. But like you look at him, and I was younger. I was 18 years old, and this guy's 25. I'm like, fuck, this guy looks so fucking cool, man. And it makes you want to. I'll be honest. I wanted to like be a drug dealer. Yeah. I didn't, but like I'm like, fuck, this looks so cool. Like I want to do that. This looks 100%. Badass.
I mean, we used to play all those, what do you call it, like, video games or whatever. I used to do like all like these, not called RPGs. We used to create characters and everything, and I used to create the gangster character, right? And then I used to play as him and like
SimCity.
Exactly. Like, there was Sims. There was Habbo at one point as well on online and stuff like. Yeah, and you used to play out like those like not fantasy, but then you grow up. Yeah. And then you realize, and it's like, you know what? I'd rather be able to walk around without having to look over my shoulder every 5 minutes. Yeah. Personally, every single time. You ever watch the Michael Franchese? I can't pronounce his name. Frances. Yeah. So he's he's turned his life around now, big time. But he talks about broke up his family. 100%. Went to jail. His dad. Yeah. But like then again, stories that he. When he's sitting there, he's like, I don't even remember how much he was making a week, but with his gas, he was good with coming up with schemes. Yeah. Right? Essentially, he would just open up a corporation and not pay the taxes of the gas and always like lower the amount so that all his competition would have to lower it or something. Yeah. And like those stories are good. Like, like I had 2 helicopters, I had a jet, I had homes and this and that. And you're like, well, like that doesn't sound so bad. Yeah. But he's one of the lucky ones that made it out unscathed, I guess, or whatever. And he was also, because he was making so much money, he's like, but he didn't want to tell them how he was making the money because he wanted to just keep making the money. Yeah, because they have to keep him alive. Yeah. You can't kill him because he's making so much money. Yeah. No, it's always very, very, very interesting. There's actually one of my buddies, his dad in Montreal was a detective. Oh. During the 90s, the early 90s. So we're talking Hells Angels, all the gangsters, Rizzuto's. This guy has so many stories, and he was telling me stories. I'm like, were there any stories where you ever had where you were scared of your life? He's like, absolutely. And he was telling this one story. So they basically had to walk in. It was a Haitian gang, and they walked in. He goes, and it was like a undercover operation. They had to bust in. So there was a second door there. He goes, if I didn't. He goes, they all had guns on them. He goes, if there wasn't that second door that was there, I would have died right there. They would have shot me because I wasn't in uniform. And just has like story after story after story. And he fucking was running. So he's running down the street. They were like shooting at him. This is in Montreal. He's running down as a police. They're shooting at him. Jesus. So he gets like just crazy shit like that. But yeah, gangster life, it's cool for all you kids out there. It's really cool at the beginning. And it looks like it's a quick buck because it is a quick buck. Yeah.
But there's a really good chance you're gonna end up dead or you're gonna end up in jail. And if you do get caught at the age of like 21, the guys at the top, they don't fucking care about you.
No, I don't give a
and
shit.
now if you get caught with like a pound of blow in your car, like you're never gonna get a real job for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So
Then you're kind of
it's
stuck
like-
in that cycle after.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you start making videos on TikTok.
Yeah, yeah. Or you could do that. I guess you kind of have to do that.
Yeah.
How do you keep up with like the algorithm always changing?
Honestly, you I guess you try to follow the trends. Like you kind of see what's working. Like right now, like for me, like Reels were working.
Yeah.
Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, kind of. But essentially, it was always more so a game of consistency. Just keep posting, and like that's your algorithm. Essentially, if you're posting out quality stuff and good stuff that people actually want to watch, no matter what the algorithm is, I think personally, it's gonna hit.
Do you focus more on the Reels frame, like the dimensions
The
of
9
Reels?
by 16
by 9 or whatever
16
it's called?
by 9 or the 9 by 60, whatever. Which sucks. I like the landscape 16 by 9. YouTube, like make a nice sort of.
Because when you first started posting your videos, like the ones that did the best at the beginning were on Facebook, I want to say.
No, it was
it's Instagram?
Instagram, but then it's like Instagram, then kind of Facebook took over, then TikTok really popped. I still got on late, but it popped, and then Facebook started popping, and then Instagram was the last one now to catch up to the other ones.
Do you find on your TikTok videos that your views have gone down?
Oh, of course, 100%.
Yeah.
But then again,
So
consistency.
it's not just us.
No. Everyone in general, from what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
But then again, it's also the consistency, right? Like, people are still pumping out videos and still making their 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 views of a video. No problem.
I got a question for you on top of all the other questions I've already asked you today.
Yes.
How do you? Okay, so let's say you're going to work with a brand.
Yeah.
One thing that some brands are not very good at is they might post something on Instagram or on TikTok or on YouTube Shorts, and it might stick out like a sore thumb. Like it's so blatantly obvious that this is an advertisement.
Mm-hmm.
How do you make ads, or I don't want to call it ads. Let's call it content. How do you make content for the companies that you work with that resonate with people and that don't look like an ad? Like I'll give you an example. So sometimes if I'm Cadillac, for whatever reason, when I'm on TikTok, I'm a big TikTok guy. I'm scrolling through TikTok. There's this Cadillac ad, and I'm like, oh my god, it's like it doesn't belong on the platform. Yes, the dimensions are correct, but it just sticks out like a sore thumb. It's a terrible ad for TikTok. How do you make ads that don't stick out like a? Am I explaining this clearly?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. My go-to is always comedy. So blending in, having at least a 50-50 ratio of comedy and like information, right? Minimum. Like I won't go like a 40, 30, 20% comedy and then the majority of it be information, unless it's not going on my page. Like if it's not going on my page and you want to take it for yourself and do what you want to do, I'll make you something that's 100% information, but I'm letting you know that like this is not my forte. Forte is like finding that sweet spot between comedy and basically entertainment and information. But then again, like you need to, like for TikTok, you gotta, if these are specific, if it's specific for TikTok, it won't be I'll even say it's something that should be filmed on your phone really quick. And if that's the case with TikTok, I think even like instead of like putting all your money into one banger video or hopefully banger video, let's try to make like 10 in the same kind of thing that's like with the same budget. Let's make 10 smaller ones that are maybe a little bit different sort of thing, a little bit more like big on the hook and like not extravagant but more kind of out there, because I think TikTok, that's more what you but then again, is your audience on TikTok? Is everyone on TikTok now? Yeah, kind of. Like you got all kinds of age groups, but it's really like a case by case sort of situation. But if I have to just go in with the basics, it's always like comedy.
Got it. And right now, so you're working with well, obviously, if they're going to be advertising on the platforms, they're e-commerce companies.
Yeah.
And do you work with? You mentioned earlier, you have made TV commercials. Is this like by design? Do you only want to work with e-commerce companies because they're present on the platforms? Like, let's say, for example, like a partnership. So I know you're trying to stay away from the one-offs. You're trying to get like the relationship built and stuff. Let's say you were to get like a big brand, and it was more on the traditional advertising side of things. So like a television, or well, yeah, let's call it TV.
Yeah.
Would you turn that down or?
No, I wouldn't turn it down. I would just have to see exactly what is it that you want in the commercial. Is it something, again, that's just more like aesthetically pleasing? Is it something that's just basic, or just more so about your information? That's fine. We could do it. But then again, on my page, I can't start posting that kind of stuff because my audience is not expecting that. They're expecting at least some sort of comedy, not to be sold to blatantly.
And what's like the future for your video production company? Like, where do you want to take this thing, or just kind of just you're living in the present, seeing where it goes?
Living in the present, seeing where it goes for sure. But at the same time, like I do see myself eventually working with like very select few companies, if not even just more so being almost like a consultant kind of thing. I'll come in for like a week, make some like give some ideas or whatever it is. Like maybe like they have their own production team and it's just more so like the idea generation that like, cause that's the thing that comes easiest to me. Like I don't like edit. I don't edit anymore. I don't film. I don't, it's more so the ideas and the acting. Will I be acting in all the videos? No, but more so the ideas, like coming up with something creative. I think I can see myself doing that.
And what are some tips that you can give to brands that are looking to build an audience? Because it's very hard to build an audience, man.
Yeah. The first thing I will say is consistency, 100%.
Yeah.
And again, I've been consistent and I've seen the benefits of being consistent.
And consistent, sorry to cut you off there.
Yeah.
What's consistent? Every day, 2 times a day?
I would say at least every day.
Really?
I would say at least every day. Yeah. When you're looking at like people like Gary Vee, they're posting like 4 times a day on certain platforms, different forms of content. And so the reason why I would say consistency first is because what it does is it allows you to see what works really fast, right? If you're going to post, so let's say you make 10 videos and you're saying, you know what, I'm going to post 10 videos this month. Okay. Now you're going to spread them out over the month. So maybe what is that? It's 2 a week. I guess you can kind of say whatever it is. It's going to take you a while to see how long these 10 videos work versus if you were to shoot them all within the first week. Now for the second week, you already know which ones did well. One of them pops off. Why are you going to waste your time with the other 9? Maybe tweak the other 9 or whatever it is. Like it's just in the world that we're in, things are moving fast, really fast. And you don't want to wait. Let's post this in June. Like, no, why? Like post it now and see what happens. Make another variation for June. So, yeah.
And you would make, so when a video pops off, when you're saying to just like double down on that, so you're saying like, for example, put more advertising dollars behind that particular video, or?
Either put more advertising dollars behind it or dissect it in terms of like, why is it working? Was it short? Was it like, was there a certain formula to it? Was it like hook, joke, information, call to action? Like, was it that? Was it, and then by dissecting it, the only way you'll really actually get to know if you were right or wrong is actually by doing it. So it's like, hey, let's make the same thing again, that just different. Let's say a different characters or whatever it is. Try it again. Oh, it worked again. Okay, cool. So it's the format that worked. If not, it's like, let's try. Was it just the same hook? So let's try something different, but with the same sort of hook. Okay, the hook is what is really picking up. And then again, all the analytics that come into these things as well, where you see how long people stayed. They say 3 seconds, they say 15 seconds, right? I was lucky. A lot of my videos, people stay to the end. Like I have a high
engagement rate, I think it's called.
Engagement rate, or retention, viewer retention rate.
Okay,
I think is what it's called.
And these are things also too, like that's one advantage to advertising on the social media platforms is because you can see that data. If you put a commercial out on television, you're not going to get that data back.
Billboards, TV, I don't know. You need people to, when we did do the TV slot, right? It was like, are people, oh yeah, I saw you on the football game. Oh yeah, I saw you after this, saw you on that, which was cool.
Yeah.
But it doesn't tell me how much, it doesn't tell me how many people bought, right? It doesn't like with Matt and May, like we really get to see how many people stayed, how many people clicked the link, how many people bought. Like it's cool, right? Like the analytics are there.
How important would you say is storytelling, especially if you're like a startup brand?
I would say it's very important. It's not everything, and I'm saying that because I think you need a bit of everything, right? So you need some storytelling in there. You need some like an entertainment value in terms of like just videos that are entertaining. You need some stuff that like, explains what your product is, what you do. You need some, you need different categories of content, I guess you can say. Storytelling is one of them, I would say. Yeah.
So out of Here, I wrote this all down so I don't forget. How would you order this? So let's just say I'm a brand and I want to start posting a bunch of content. I want to sell my product or I want to sell my service. So we got 4 things. What order would you put this in? So we got authenticity, consistency, entertainment, storytelling. What would you say is the most important out of these 4?
Authenticity.
Okay, number 1.
Number 1. I would say consistency is... Okay, I put consistency number 2.
Yeah.
Storytelling would be last, and then the 4th one would be... What was the 4th one again?
And
Entertainment?
number 3 would be entertaining. It's an entertaining piece.
Okay, no. So we'll switch storytelling and entertaining. So entertaining would be
last.
Yeah,
wow.
but my thing is authenticity. The reason why I'm putting it first is because like you'll see right through that fast.
Yeah.
If you're not authentic.
Yeah.
So that's like you just have to be true to what you are and what your brand is.
Yeah.
Like before content, before anything, right? Like you got to know what your authenticity is, like knowing what you are and what you stand for and what your product is and all that kind of stuff. So that's number 1. I'm putting consistency number 2, but ideally consistency would be the umbrella, the way I would see it over the other 3.
Huh. Okay.
You'd be consistent with your authenticity, storytelling, and entertainment. But because it needs to be throughout everything, that's why I'm putting it second.
And so, because there are a lot of people, like let's say for example you're building a brand, and then like authenticity is just something that like people struggle with. Whether it could be because they're not comfortable in front of a camera, it could be that they don't actually believe in the product. Like if you don't believe in a product, I don't know why you're working there. Like I tell it to anybody. It's like especially if you're working in sales, we do home, car, and business insurance here. Yeah. If you don't think that KBD is you have to think like this. If you don't think that we're like the best for those types of products, then how are you ever going to sell the product?
Well, that's it. It'll come off in everything. It'll come off in your customer service. It'll come off in your sales. It'll come off in your content. It'll come off everywhere.
Yeah. Like you absolutely have to believe. It's like for your like video production company, it's like you got to believe when you're going to speak to someone, and it sounds like you do believe this. Yeah. When you're going to speak to someone, it's like, I am going to give you the best like product that on the market. Like you want to work with me, I'm going to give you the fairest price. I'm going to give you the best service. We're going to be the most creative. We're going to be
I'm like, and I tell companies this, and call me crazy or whatever it is, but like there's no, like when I was trying to explain the company to people, like I think essentially the way I visualize it is like there's a forest and there's 2 paths, right? So like one path, you can go with a production company that'll charge you like $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 for that one commercial that you'll see on TV, that you'll like the big players, they're there. Then you got the other path, which is more so like the micro, like the influencer, the on the phone or whatever it is. And I think what I did is I tore down some trees and made a separate path, which is the mix of both. So it's like we're not at the $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 for one commercial production wise. Quality wise, again, it tends to be more so like basic quality wise, like cameras we use are graded for Netflix and all that kind of stuff. Like the quality is there, but like the filming style is more like for social media, right? So that being said, like it's the blend of both sort of thing. And it's content at scale. So it's not just one. Like you're gonna go there, you'll make a McDonald's commercial, that's one commercial and that's it. Versus like we're trying to make like a couple of them at the same time.
How much is like a commercial for like a McDonald's? How much would they spend on like a commercial?
Good question. I guess it also depends what depends what goes into it. But like I've been paid for a commercial as an actor only, like $2,000
for a day. It's a whole day
for a day, but for a day shoot sort of thing. $2,000, about between $2,000-$3,000. But that's just one actor. Now, on that shoot, there was 7 actors, I think, 7-8 actors.
So just that right there is $14,000.
And you don't have a script. You haven't filmed anything yet. You haven't edited anything.
Big bucks.
Well, that's it, right? Like when I say that you're walking in with 30, 40, 50, it's just easy. That's it. Yeah.
So this, I don't know if it's because some of the building or it's too big a space. I'm not sure. But we used to do the podcast in the boardroom where when you walk in.
Yeah.
the landlord here, they can't get the temperature right. So in the main floor, it's 22 degrees Celsius, comfortable.
Yeah.
Here it's 20 degrees, a little chilly side, but it's okay. The other room there is 26.
Nice.
So it's too hot. And before, because we were up their ass to basically be like, yo, it's fucking freezing, and everyone was complaining. And in here, so before they fixed it for the HVAC, it used to be 29 degrees in here. 29, bro.
Yeah, you were in Florida in here.
Yeah. Seriously, it's 29 degrees. So like no one could do anything in here.
Damn.
But yeah. So anyway, first world problems, right? As we get towards the end of this pod, where do you see influencer marketing heading, or content creation, social media, acting, however you want to, whatever terminology you want to use, and you can kind of put the terminology there. And I saw something. Who was it? You ever seen Grant Cardone on yes, I think it was him who was saying something. And he said that was it him? Maybe it was someone else. But he said that just being an influencer today, it's not enough in the sense that, because, the algorithm can change at any point.
Yeah.
TikTok could get banned. It could be, there's many things that can happen that are completely outside of your control.
Yeah.
And yeah, so where do you see this heading? Do you see all these people? Because all the smart influencers, for example, and this is a long-winded kind of question / statement. Take the Paul brothers.
Yeah.
What these guys have done. I wouldn't even consider them influencers anymore. I would consider them as entertainers, and I will give the respect to Jake Paul. Dude, he takes his craft seriously. He's trying really hard. I don't think he'll ever become like an actual professional, like the world champion. For boxing, but you gotta give the guy credit.
100%.
He looks like he's working. He looks great. Looks like he's in shape. He looks like he's working hard. I tip my hat off to him for that. But those guys there, they kind of went from being Vine. Do you remember? Were you ever on Vine?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Vine. So they started off as like Vine creators or Vine influencers, and they're entertainers today.
Yeah.
And all the guys and girls who kind of see where this is going, they kind of evolve into something else. So yeah, there's a lot of points to that statement there, or question. Where do you see this industry going?
I think it's just gonna. Anyways, for now, it'll continue to evolve the way it has evolved, like through Vine and MySpace before that, and and like old Instagram as well. Old Instagram was just pictures, right? So, and then Facebook, and like Facebook is kind of making a little bit of a comeback in terms of its like shorts and reels and everything. And then there was other platforms like there's also Rumble, I think now too. Yeah, it's kind of like rivaling with like YouTube to a certain extent.
Yeah, Rumble's kind of, to my understanding of what Rumble is, I went on the platform. It's more of a free speech platform.
Yeah,
and the platform itself, it's not nearly as nice as YouTube. I mean, YouTube's really nice, but
100%.
People were kind of getting fed up and pissed off with just all of a sudden being demonetized. And like if your business is, let's say you are a creator on YouTube and they just stop paying you, it's like, well, I don't have an income anymore. So they're just going to other platforms that allow them to say what they want to say.
100%. So I think essentially things will continue to evolve in the sense where, like, for example, like we'll always move and migrate to different platforms. Tomorrow, Zonic opens up a platform, right? And it ends up popping off. There was a couple, who was it recently? Instagram tried with Threads.
Yeah.
There was the other one as well too, the Be Real.
Yep.
Right? Like,
I haven't been on Be Real, but I've heard of it.
Yeah. So like you tried it out a little bit, whatever it is. And like if it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So anyways, all that to say is that like whatever platforms end up coming off, or like if Instagram shuts down, then like more eyes will go to YouTube, more eyes will go like other places, and then you'll always have certain influencers or people that will really pop off, and then from there it's like, but their focus is always, and that's one thing that I've really picked up from the Man Made guys, like it's like focus on what you're good at, on that one thing, right? And then
when you say one thing, you mean that one platform, or
no, like the one whatever your craft is, you know. So it's like for them, they really stuck with underwear first before, branching off into other
soap,
garments, soap, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. My thing was always like I had 4 pictures up in my apartment. It was Gary Vaynerchuk, Conor McGregor, Dwayne Johnson, and Kevin Hart.
Okay.
The reason why all 4 of them is because I envision eventually being like, again, like having an own tequila brand. They all have multiple things going for them. But at the same time, they all started with one thing that they were really hyper focused on, right? So Dwayne Johnson was wrestling, Kevin Hart was comedy, Gary Vee was like initially was the wine, right? And then
Conor McGregor UFC.
And Conor McGregor was UFC, and then now they each have like, their own like the restaurants and all that kind of stuff. So and it's not, I just picked them for because like I like their platforms and like they're all hard workers and stuff. But there's so many people that have done that. The Jake brothers are another one, right? They have their so I think it's just like it'll continue to evolve. Now with like virtual reality, AI, like there's that whole, that's very different. But like the virtual reality is like I can see that kind of being something where like DJs are already playing like sets on there and stuff. So I could see that being almost like maybe the next step. How long? I don't know. But people will migrate to that, right? So is it a thing where it's like you're in a room speaking to brother, and he has his VR set, and he's like, and instead of watching the skit on a platform, you're almost in the skit. You're sitting in the room with the characters, sort of thing. Is it that? I don't know. But I think we're just going to continue to migrate, and people will fall off. The ones who get fed up, get discouraged, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Do you ever feel like, I feel this way sometimes, and I'm not even, I don't consider myself a content creator. We just basically post content to be present on the internet for brand awareness purposes. Do you ever feel like drained from, like, let's say for example you had a 6 month, let's say before the video production company, and let's say you personally, you were just like posting content, it was you posting 4 videos a day. Do you find it draining, or you didn't get to the point where you found it draining? You enjoyed it?
Yeah. And I'm searching for that, not that fire, because it's there. I'm trying to get back to that. I guess I'm trying to get back to that zone, I guess you can kind of say, because when you started dealing with companies, and then like you got contracts involved, and then it was like dealing with companies, and then like the editing, and then the posting, and then like trying to like how to evolve that, and like those things ended up like that's the stuff I don't want to do. Like even in terms of like editing, like I don't mind it, but I don't like it so much. Like I just want to like create and post, sort of thing. That was my my thing, and I'm trying to get back to that because of the fact that like that's essentially what I like to do. That's where my focus needs to be, and everything else will kind of flow into it, I guess you can kind of say. And
that's probably also like the most value that you add.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I'm a brand wanting to work with you, with your company, I want to work with you. You're the guy who has, you basically like it's a great testimonial to show, like, hey, I'm Matthew Giuffrida. Here's my video production company. Oh, by the way, here's like the audience I built personally.
Yeah.
So I know what I'm doing. I know how to actually build an audience. This is what I'm good at. But I guess for you, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you're probably trying to get to the point where you can delegate a lot of that other stuff that you don't enjoy doing, so you can focus more on the creation side when it comes to like running the business. Yeah. That's the end goal there.
Because we're talking about being drained. The content didn't drain me. What drained me was the fact of like having to deal with all these other
running the business,
running the business, and doing all these other things where it's like hiring an assistant or whatever it was. Like that too was a whole ordeal, I guess. Like it helped, but it didn't help at the same time. And it's like there's so like, but that focus took me away from just basic making content. Like it's just it's simplify things instead of making them more complicated. That's kind of where I'm going with here.
Yeah, it's like that. It's a double-edged sword running a team. We have 30 people, roughly 30 people, and it's like some work from home, some work here. I always say this. Some days I come into the office and I'm like, wow, I can't believe I'm getting paid to do this because the business is running itself. I don't really have to do anything for that day.
But then there's other days.
Oh, man. And then there are other days where I got to get, like we said earlier, got to get the dirt under your nails. You got to make some tough decisions. You got to offend some people. You got to piss some people off. You got to kick some asses. But that's part of
it.
Dealing with people.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the reality of it. But I wouldn't have it any other way.
There we go. As long as that's the end goal.
Yeah.
That's what's important.
Yeah. Do you have any last things you'd like to say before we wrap up here?
It's been a blast. I want to say that the questions and everything have been, like I said, I've done quite a few podcasts. Some better than others. But I genuinely like when we like go a different route where it's not just focused on like.
It's not an interview. It's a conversation.
No, it's a conversation.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm saying like the topic of conversation is interesting. Like I've never really discussed this sort of stuff before on any other podcast. So yeah, it was
I
great.
appreciate that.
100%, man.
Thank you, man.
Definitely.
So yeah, we'll wrap it up here. Matthew Giuffrida. You want to plug Giuffrida Video Productions? That's the name of the company?
Yeah, Matthew Giuffrida Productions.
Yeah, Matthew Giuffrida Productions. Check him out. Check out his Instagram. Check out Brada Martin. I think Martin is my favorite.
Yeah. Fucking Martin.
Yeah.
He puts fucking the whole box of Zonic.
The whole thing, yes. But this is Curtis Killen, Freemium Podcast, and I appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you, man.
Cheers.
Thanks.